Jake Asman Show. Time now for some quick hits.
You gotta move quickly.
There's no time.
Move fast there, come on! And here we go on a very special Thursday edition of America's favorite sports radio segment. It is time for quick hits here on the Jake Asman Show. And quick hits this morning is brought to you by our friends over at the Morning Blitz. Because every morning you have to wake up and start your day by reading the Morning Blitz. It's a daily sports newsletter that gives you everything you need to know about the world of sports in 5 minutes or less. The Morning Blitz will give you scores, highlights, and provide exciting trivia across every major sport and so much more. Sign up for free at morningblitz.com. Tons to dive into. We start there with a very serious story. Then we will get to all the baseball and mix in some football. The LA Police Department has determined the cause of Tiger Woods' car crash, but they will not release the material due to privacy concerns. Tiger Woods is still in Florida recovering from the injuries he suffered in that crash. Now, when I hear this, it sounds like they're protecting him. And you can make a case, well, Jake, they can't release it because there's HIPAA laws and all that, but I don't know. It just kind of seems shady, a little fishy that the LA Police Department, they know the cause of the crash, and they're not going to come out and say what it is. Now, I don't want to speculate, but I heard from someone that told me about the Woods crash minutes before it became a known story when the news outlet started covering it, that Woods broke both his legs in the crash, and he was under heavy painkillers when they brought him into the hospital. That's what I was told. I'm not reporting that, and I don't want to speculate, but the person who told me that also told me about the car crash about 10 minutes before it broke nationally. So I'm just putting that out there. So then when I hear this, it sounds like they're covering for him, no? That they don't, that they're protecting him. That's how I look at it. Ron, am I off base here? Your thoughts on this?
No, I mean, they're probably protecting it, but I'm on the fence of, like, do we really need to know? Do we really need to know the reasoning why? I mean, he got into a car accident.
But if he's on painkillers, though, that speaks to the addiction that he
so
has.
What? Does it, I mean...
He's abusing painkillers.
The guy has had, that's his deal. That's not our deal. I mean, the guy has had a story arc that is unlike any other. We're beyond 30 for 30s for him. We're beyond 90-90s. This is like, a week-long mini series. I mean, we keep getting documentaries and we just keep adding chapters to his tale. Well, it's the craziest story or career that a guy could ever have.
Yes. But I think it's significant because we're talking about a guy that we all thought was a changed person, right? He got his life in order. Now it's like, if he's back using painkillers and has a painkiller addiction, we're talking about a guy's livelihood that gets affected. Forget the golf stuff.
Then that should be on him to release it, or TMZ.
I think it gets out there eventually, but this kind of does feel like the police department in LA is protecting him. But it is what it is.
They're also probably protecting themselves because they know Woods has all the money to find the right lawyers.
He does.
He'll resurrect Johnny Cochran if he has to.
I mean, they could put it out there. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, they're also, if you think about it too, even though it's not LA Police Department, it's LA Sheriff's Department, under a lot of scrutiny of how they handled Kobe Bryant, is probably something like, well, you know what, here's another high profile athlete. Let's be very gingerly because we don't want the same thing to happen to us that's happened with the Sheriff's Department right now with the mismanagement of photos.
That is very true. That's a good point. They definitely don't want another incident like that to occur. All right, let's talk some MLB opening day, shall we? Let's start with my team, the New York Yankees. For the first time as a member of the Yankees, Garrett Cole is actually going to pitch a game at Yankee Stadium where real-life Yankee fans will get a chance to applaud him, to cheer him. The Yankee ace takes the ball.
Strange concept, isn't it?
Very strange. The guy signed a 9-year deal, year one with the team. He didn't get to pitch in front of a single fan. You get the point. Garrett Cole on the mound today against the Toronto Blue Jays. This was Cole yesterday talking about his excitement for opening day.
It's always a special day. I think because there's just a lot of different emotions. Everybody is tired of spring training, ready for opening day. Most people's families are in town, which is special. There's a lot of hope. There's a lot of excitement. There's a lot of projections. There's a lot of baseball out in front of you. And, you've prepared up to this point, and there's nothing else. You just want the gates to open and you want it to start.
And it will start today, 1 o'clock Eastern. First pitch, Yankees and Blue Jays. No George Springer for the Blue Jays. He's hurt, so we will not get Cole versus Springer, pair of former teammates, matching up in that one. So, hey, you look at this Yankees team. We talked about this briefly last hour. I'll say it again. Championship or bust for the Yankees. Championship or bust. If they get to the World Series and lose, I will reevaluate my thoughts if they lose to, let's say, the Dodgers, and the Dodgers are just a better team. But I look at this Yankee season, and anything short of going to the World Series would be a massive failure. The rest of the American League got worse. The Yankees probably stayed around the same from what they were last year by re-signing LeMahieu, adding Kluber, adding Tyone. This Yankees team, if they could finally just stay healthy, and they're already off to a brutal start losing Britton and Voit, but if Judge and Stan could just stay on the field, and if they could just go out there and be the Yankees, on paper, there's a reason why Vegas has them, winning the most games in the American League. They've been knocking on the door for a while. The Dodgers knocked on that door for a while. The Nationals knocked on that door for a while. Sometimes it takes a while to break through. The Yankees need to, at the minimum, get to the World Series in an American League that got worse with the Rays not having Snell or Morton. The Blue Jays not having enough pitching. The Red Sox are garbage. The A's lost some players. The Astros lost Springer and Verlander's out for the year. Like the Yankees have it all out in front of them. They have to take a big step forward and get to the World Series. They've been knocking on that door for a while. Time to break down the door in 2021.
No, you're. I would say that not all the American League teams got worse. I think the White Sox did get better, but I think it would take a Padres-esque season last year for them to be in contention. We talked about the Padres last year kind of being ahead of themselves. I mean, they weren't supposed to be like that until for another 2 years, and now we expect bigger things out of the Padres, and that's where the White Sox are. I think they get better, but they're still about 2 years away from being a serious contender.
The White Sox are very good. What would concern you is the fact that they have a 75-year-old manager. So we'll see how that works out.
Come on, don't go ageism on me.
Ageism. There's also some concerns with the White Sox losing. Elroy right before the season is a brutal blow. They're very good.
That is, but that's what I'm saying. It would be if they were to have any hope of contention, it would be what the Padres did last year, where it was kind of like took us all by surprise because we figured that team is good, but they're 2 to 3 years away good.
And then they ran into the Dodgers.
And that's probably what's going to happen here. That's going to be their main source of competition.
If they run into the Yankees,
or
they get pummeled.
The only other one that comes to my mind, if they could ever figure it out, would be the Angels.
They have no pitching. They will not figure it out. It's the same old story for the Angels. It's like, let's have all these great offensive players, Rendon, Trout, whatever Pujols will give them.
And let's get an offensive player who happens to throw a ball too. And Ohtani.
The Ohtani thing is a great story. It's not going to work. The guy is always hurt. He's a great hitter. Just let him hit. There's a reason why nobody's done what Babe Ruth has done in 100 years. It's hard to do.
But you can't do it anymore. I mean, Babe Ruth wouldn't even be able to do it today.
No, Babe Ruth wouldn't be able to do it today because he'd be too busy eating hot dogs and beer. And a lot of the things Babe Ruth got away with would now be covered in the media, and he would not be able to get away with it.
Yeah, he couldn't have a social media account.
Just saying. Imagine Babe Ruth on Twitter. Oh, that'd be fun.
It'd be fantastic. Somebody needs to do that.
Someone create a Twitter account.
Somebody who knows Babe Ruth inside and out, just create a Twitter account and act like him.
That'd be pretty funny. It'd
Maybe
be like,
do that with all the old stars.
It'd be like Captain Andrew Luck.
Yes.
Old Babe Ruth. I don't know.
You know what? It's probably out there.
It could be. It wouldn't shock me. It would not shock me. Anyhow, Ron, you brought up the Padres. A lot of hype surrounding the Padres. They made the playoffs last year. And then what do they do this offseason? They basically signed or traded for everybody. Blake Snell is now there. Joe Musgrove is now there. They gave a 14-year extension to this guy, Fernando Tatis. This was Tatis on the Padres trying to prove they are for real.
There's everything to prove. There's a lot of work that hasn't been done that needs to be done. And what can I say? Every year we're going to keep even growing a little bit more. This year I'm more hungry than last year. And I'm just can't wait to bring 162 to these people that I've been waiting for.
So that's Mr. Tatis discussing the San Diego Padres. You look at their rotation, Yu Darvish, I didn't even mention him, Blake Snell, Joe Musgrove, Chris Paddock is their fifth starter, which is ridiculous. They're really good. Mark Melanson's their closer. They got Drew Pomeranz in that bullpen. So they got some names in the pen. They obviously have Tatis. You know about Machado and Hosmer and Tommy Pham and Will Myers. This is a very, very good team. I still believe the Dodgers are better. But, Ron, your biggest threat in the National League is right in your own division with the San Diego Padres.
Like I've said before, having lived in San Diego for as long as I did, I do have a soft spot for those Padres as long as it doesn't interfere with my Dodgers. And I guess my biggest thing is, not today. I didn't realize Darvish is the opening day starter for the Padres.
Good old you.
Is it tomorrow? Yes, tomorrow. We get to see if Blake Snell goes 7 innings. If I'm the Padres, I run him out 7 innings.
So is Trevor Bauer slotted to be the third guy in the Dodgers rotation? Yeah. So they're going Kershaw, Buehler, Bauer?
Or Buehler, Kershaw. No, it's Kershaw today.
Kershaw's today. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know if Kershaw is the number one. For me, it feels like
it's out of respect.
More sentimental. Yeah. So, I mean, if you're in if this was World Series time and we've got the whole season, I think Walker Buehler is number one. I would say I might probably go Trevor Bauer number two.
That stuff is so overrated in the regular season.
Yeah.
It only matters in the playoffs. How you line up your ace.
But Trevor Bauer technically is third man on the rotation.
Speaking of aces, Max Scherzer of the Washington Nationals basically spoke for all of us when talking about his desire for COVID to just go away.
I feel like we're really close to the end of this because of the vaccine. Once we're vaccinated, then I should really say once we have the choice to have that vaccination, the guys who do and the guys who don't, I mean, that is what it is. At that point, we're basically, how I see it, I'm basically done with this. I'm ready to get back to normal. I'm ready for me personally to do everything that we want to do on and off the field and live our lives as normal as best we can.
Anyone going to disagree with that?
Nope. And you know what? One thing you need to consider too for athletes, they do have it a little tougher than us.
Boo-hoo.
Because I mean, I know they have all the money, but they are under stricter rules than you and I.
They are. That's why
you and I can go to a restaurant if we want to.
Yes. So that's why Major League Baseball put in protocols where if 85% of your team has been vaccinated, those who do get vaccinated have way less protocols to follow. You can go out to restaurants. You can be out and about, and if you become a close contact with someone that does have COVID, you don't have to you don't have to sit out, right? So that's why you're having all these teams get vaccinated. I believe the Astros have already had their entire team get vaccinated before they flew out west to start their season.
Smart.
So you're going to have every team, I think, by the end of it.
Get vaccinated, people.
And it's smart by baseball to incentivize looser protocols if you get the vaccine. So good move there. Max Scherzer, great guy. The reason why he's being asked about COVID there is because 5 national players are going to miss opening day because they had a positive COVID test. So it was one player, and because that one player was a close contact with 4 other players, they have to quarantine. And here we go with COVID.
But you know what? It's kind of funny, though, because last time this happened with the Marlins, remember we were ready to kick the Marlins out of the – well, you and I weren't, but there were certain people on this network who were ready to kick the Marlins out of the league for catching COVID. And we have such a different perspective on it now than we did then. It's like, okay, well, you got COVID. Just isolate your guys. Let's try to keep a rotation. Call up some of your guys and consider an extended spring training.
Yeah, let's just isolate them and we keep going. I always go back to this: how far we've come with COVID. We shut down an entire sport over one positive test with the NBA last March. Think about that. Now we've had like half a team's roster get the virus. We keep plowing through. Remember the Ravens in the NFL season?
Yep.
The Titans. So you figure it out. And with the vaccine here,
Cardinals had to play 3 weeks of double headers.
Scherzer's right with everything he said.
Yeah, we're just done.
We're nearing the end. There's no doubt about that. All right, let's squeeze in some NBA here, Ron. How about your Lakers? Another loss last night. They lose to the Bucks. No surprise there when you don't have LeBron or AD. That's not the storyline. The storyline is the fact that Giannis and his 2 other brothers all played in the same game. Of course, Giannis's one brother's on the Lakers. His other brother's on the Bucks. So all 3 Giannis brothers, all 3 Antetokounmpo, Giannis Antetokounmpo brothers, all three of them, were in the same game together. And this was the Greek Freak, Giannis, discussing that after the game.
This moment today is probably my favorite moment I've had so far in the NBA. You know, you can never have a feeling like this. You know, no matter what you do, you win a game with the buzzer beater, you score 50, you score 40, like, it does not freaking matter. You know, like this moment, just seeing the guys that I, you know, grew up with, and we slept in the same bed, and we were looking at the ceiling and imagining if we're ever going to play in the NBA, if we ever going to make it, and just being on the same court while our mom is having her phone and videotaping the whole thing. I think it's priceless, you know, and nobody can take this away from us. And I think this is the best moment I've ever had in the NBA.
Giannis is the most likable superstar that's in the NBA. I can tell you that firsthand. Out of all the guys that I've interviewed after like a post game here in Houston, Giannis was by far the nicest superstar.
Don't you fear that he'll have like a it'll be like a Mount? Whoa! All right, breaking news.
What's that?
Roy Williams retires.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we will get to that in the next segment, I suppose. Roy Williams stepping down.
Back to Giannis real quick, though. I just have a fear that he's going to go down like the Mike Trout route of superstardom, where we really don't know who he is because, you know, he's in such a small market.
It's different, though, with the NBA. I mean, he's on national TV all the time. LeBron was the biggest star in Cleveland. If Giannis wins, you'll know a lot more about him. He's got to win. He's dealing with the that every young player deals with.
Yeah, I love what he said, and the only thing when he was talking about his brothers and, you know, playing his brothers, when he mentioned the line that his mom got to videotape it, I instantly thought, and I felt bad for the Watt family because obviously they could have gone to the stadium now.
By the way, his brothers are so it's Giannis, it's Kostas, and it's Thanasis Antetokounmpo. Brutal. And then there's another one named Francis Antetokounmpo. And then there's another one named Alex Antetokounmpo. So imagine being the two brothers that didn't make it to the NBA out of the five.
Well, you know, it's funny because we had the Holiday brothers. They all played together. Now we had the Antetokounmpo brothers. They've all played together. Still haven't had the ball family.
Wild. That wraps it up for Quick Hits here on a Thursday. We'll get to that breaking news with Roy Williams in the next segment. Plus, let's hear from some NFL owners that are speaking at the NFL owners meetings. We'll do that next. Jake Asman with you here on a Thursday. This is the Jake Asman Show on SportsMap Radio.